All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate you waiting patiently for the intro to finish up there. My face looks very shiny. I guess I didn't think this through since I have a light on above me. I'm not sweating. I'm not feverish. It may come off that way. I look so shiny because I put some lotion on my face, dry skin. I didn't expect it to look this way, so sorry about that, I guess. Is that a Soundgarden t-shirt? Yeah, it is. Soundgarden is one of my favorite bands. So yeah, appreciate you guys being here. Chris Brown says he's hyped for no reason. Is my voice still messed up? You guys can determine that. It feels a little bit better than it did yesterday, but it's definitely not 100%. I still don't think I can do the higher pitch. I feel like I can talk mostly normal. The past 2 days, the way it's been going is my voice will completely give out at around the 2 hour and 15-minute mark, 2.5 hour mark. So we'll see. I feel like I could at least do 2 hours today. I would like to do more than that, obviously. We'll see how far I can go. But my voice is slowly getting better each day. It's just taking its time. So I do have some cough drops here with me as well. So maybe that'll help. Yeah. Oh man, I knew this was gonna happen. Everybody's be like, "Bro, why you look so shiny today?" As soon as I saw myself in the camera, I'm like, "Yeah, I got that. Get that shine." All right. So we have quite a bit to go over today. We have some pretty big PlayStation news. Um, you read the title correctly. New PlayStation CEOs announced. So today we're talking about two PlayStation CEOs being announced or appointed. So we need to go over that. We're going to talk about obviously what this means for PlayStation going forward. We're going to talk about who these individuals are, and we're going to talk about how Sony has seemingly a very different strategy going forward. Corey knows. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing, Corey. I'm this shiny underneath my shirt, too, just in case I got to take it off and flex at some point. And BG is shining with the light of Holshinoism. Amazing. I knew once I came up with that term, I knew Gaming Survivor was just going to have a field day with it. I look forward to many years of Gaming Survivor, just coming up with the craziest things with Holshinoism. That was the best I could come up with, truthfully. I think it's pretty good. Gets the job done. But yeah, we're talking about the new PlayStation CEOs. We have Sony's fiscal year 2023 earnings report, and we're learning a lot of interesting things. I think that Sony's earnings report paint a much clearer picture of the reality of the PlayStation 5 and of PlayStation as a whole. But on top of that, we also have Sony giving us a first party update. So this is what we're going to go over today. And listen, normally I do members lounges on Tuesdays. I cannot promise a members lounge today. Obviously, I have to focus on doing a regular stream first and foremost. I have no idea what state my voice is going to be in by the end of this stream. So I just want to put it out there now that there's a pretty good chance there will not be a members lounge today. And I apparently forgot to let boss in. So hold on one second. I gotta bring him in here. All right. Yeah, sorry about that. He was clawing at the door. He's like, "Yo, you didn't let me in, boss. Listen, um, be good today, okay? Be good today." So we have a super chat here from Chris Brown. He says PlayStation CEO is structured like WBDC Universe inspired. Um, it could be. I mean, I'm going to talk, in depth about why I think Sony decided to go with two CEOs rather than one this time around. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first time Sony has ever done a dual CEO situation. Um, I definitely have a theory on why they're doing this. I don't know that it's inspired by DC necessarily, though. Chris, I also have a $5 super chat from Michael Lynch here. He says PlayStation with two CEOs and a showcase, Xbox on fire, but they have, uh, but they have a new We Fired Tango GameWorks controller. Oh, okay. That makes sense now that I read the whole thing. Damn, Michael, that was savage. Yeah, Xbox is in their own world of hurt, and one of the more interesting things that you guys are going to realize. Well, I don't know that many of you are going to realize it, but some people are certainly going to realize it. Is there's been this kind of conversation taking place over the past, I would say, 6 months or so, maybe longer than that, where what is that? Hold on. I just heard a knock. I think, okay, sorry. I thought it was Phil Spencer knocking at the door. Um, like, you better not be about to talk about Xbox. Not today. Sorry about that. I'm not all with it, in case you can't tell. Not it's Matt Booty. Yeah, Matt Booty's knocking at the door. He's like, "Hey, what I tell you about that?" Um, but no, what I was gonna say is that there's been this kind of conversation taking place over the past, I would say, 6 months or so, where people have tried desperately to bring Sony and Microsoft down to the same level, and basically make it sound like they're both going through the same struggle, that their problems are the same, their mistakes are the same, and they're in the same situation. And what we're going to see with the earnings report today from PlayStation is that that's not true at all. Um, there is a pretty big difference between their current situations and the direction that their businesses are going in. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see if the showcase announcement happens now that the earnings are out. Is it Leia? Maybe no, it wasn't Leia. I don't know what it was. Um, and I'm referring mainly to the console, by the way, with what I just said. But yeah, guys, before we dive into this conversation, I do just want to thank everybody for being here. We have over 400 people watching. Shout out to all of you. Do me a favor, hit that like button. All right, we're sitting at 88 likes. Really, really appreciate that. Let's see if we can get that to 100. You guys have been doing a great job. It's really been helping the streams. Maybe we can get it to 125. 3 ways you can support my content directly, support this channel directly, and support this community directly. Please, IP Gaming, please hit that like button. I am fan funded. So I do rely on you guys to be able to do these streams, to be able to do what I do here. 3 ways you can support me. Become a channel member. You gain access to exclusive perks, and you get to partake in the Members Lounge when we do them. You get access to all the previous Members Lounge episodes, and you also get exclusive community posts. If you are already a member, please consider gifting memberships to help grow the member community. Many people here are very grateful for those of you who drop membership gifts. And there are a lot of people who would like to support directly, but it's not within their means. But you guys make it so that they can still be part of that membership community and partake and support me directly. And last but certainly not least, consider donating a super chat, ask a question, give an opinion, make a statement, anything in between. And then finally, there's also the link in the top of the chat. That is a direct donation link to the channel. 100% of what you donate goes to the content creator. So that's a fourth option, essentially, if that's something you're interested in. And you can leave a message, and I will read that message just like a super chat. So thank you guys for all your support. As I'm saying that, we have Whiskey Gaming kicking off the day by dropping 5 membership gifts for you guys. And then following him up is Corey the Legend Landiga, dropping 5 more memberships. And then just like that, Hellbound 1981 comes in and follows Corey up with a 5 bomb of his own. And just like that, you guys are getting us off to a very strong start already. 15 members, just 10 away now from feeding the beast. Boss had his suspicion, man. Boss was like, you know what? I got to get in there early today. I have a good feeling. So thank you guys for that. 15 members from Whiskey, Corey, and Hellbound. You guys are awesome. Let me see here. Make sure my volume isn't about to be way too loud.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And just, just to celebrate, the new CEOs and Jim Ryan retiring.
Enough from me. We're going to have the games to our talk.
I'm going to say this one more time. I'm not extremely sick. I just see more and more people, popping up saying, "I'm very worried about you. You look very sick." I'm not very sick. I sound a million times worse than I am. I just have laryngitis, and I look shiny because I put a lotion on that has like some petroleum jelly in it. So I'm not sweating. I don't have a fever. I'm sorry. I didn't realize when I started the stream up that I look completely disastrous. So no worries. Okay. Still pretty ugly, bro. That's okay. I just want everybody to know that I'm okay. My voice is the only thing. My vocal cords are the only thing that's struggling. And we have Corey the Legend Landiga gifting 10 memberships in the name of Boss. Corey drops that 10 bomb, gets us over 25, and then Jake Skew 28 follows him up with a single gifted membership, bringing us all the way to 26.
Holy shit.
And we are feeding the beast early today. Look at him. He knows. We're going to dive into this conversation, but Boss knows. I'm going to let these membership gifts dull out, and then looks like we're good. Let me adjust that a little bit. Wait, hold on. There you go. Boss, you're about to be very look, he knows. He's like, huh? This is the time? Thank you for that, though. Corey, really appreciate that. Everybody else dropping membership gifts. Thank you so much. I'm going to read these super chats. Let me just throw this up there. Hold on, Corey, did you see this yet, by the way?
Boss, do you read me? It's time to feed the beast.
I don't know how many people, is that your first time seeing it? I haven't used it many times. Here you go, boss. We're feeding the beast nice and early. Bro. He won't even let me shake the rest of the snacks out. He's literally just like letting it hit him in the head. But there you go. Time to feed the beast. Thank you guys. Boss, thanks you guys. Jeff, that was your first time. You love it? We have Brett Williams here, member for 17 months. He says, so much for the Xbox narrative that the entire games industry is falling apart. Looks like it's actually just Xbox. Everyone else is doing fine. Well, there is some truth to that, Brett. I mean, it's not that the entire... There's some truth to that, but also it's not entirely true. Because the games industry, it's not that it's falling apart. It's just, it is correcting itself. And no one is safe, right? Like everybody is experiencing a certain level of reevaluation of the business and slimming down, so to speak. But when it comes to Xbox, the reality for their situation is it has been significantly worse than anybody else because, you will see Xbox fans come out and brag about this is how much money Xbox has made. But what they fail to maybe acknowledge, or even if they do acknowledge, they don't seem to understand that if it wasn't for the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, Xbox would actually be it would be very dire. I mean, very, very dire. And there would be no growth. Simply put, there would be absolutely no growth, and maybe like 1% growth at most for Xbox if it wasn't for Activision Blizzard. And I don't care. They acquired them. I don't think anybody cares at this point. It is what it is. It's water under the bridge. But it is important to understand that what you're saying is true specifically for the Xbox console. And one of the big takeaways that we are going to leave with today after going over all this information is that the PS5 is actually still doing very, very well, better than I expected. It was actually a pleasant surprise. When we go over the data, we're going to go over that a little bit later. But when we go over the data and we see how well the PS5 is selling, it makes me realize that, man, the situation with the Xbox console in particular is truly as dire as I suspected it was. All throughout 2023, we were seeing how much Microsoft was struggling to sell these consoles. And, you look on the flip side, the PS5 is selling like crazy. And the past couple of months, there's been this weird narrative where, again, I wouldn't say it's so much with the industry, but there are people who are trying to convince you that because the Xbox console is dead, the PS5 console, the PlayStation console is dead too. And the data we're going to go over today couldn't be further from the truth. So yeah, I get what you're saying, Brett. It's weird. Oh, and I have to update the member goal too. Sorry about that. Just give me one moment to do that. Man, this another thing about this, whatever this lotion is I put on my face, it's making me like real hot though. It is like locking in the heat or some shit. Uh-oh. Open that window. All right. So Brett, thank you for that. We have Josh here with a super chat, and he says, it's rich seeing those loons grasp onto PS5, missing their sales target by 200K like PlayStation is doomed. Meanwhile, 20.8 million is massive. Meanwhile, Xbox in hell. I should probably start with this because you guys are clearly, yeah, you're picking up on this as well. Listen, I haven't been on social media much today. I was a little bit, but I didn't go searching for reactions. But anybody who tries to tell you today that the PS5 is not doing well, I would highly recommend not listening to them. And if you have listened to them previously, never listen to them again, because they are lying. They do not know what they are talking about. They don't understand what they're looking at. And if they're not lying, like at worst they're lying, at best they're just totally ignorant. Either way, you shouldn't be listening to them. I'm going to relay this information to you. This comes from Matt Piscatella from Circana, formerly known as NPD. They track all sales data for the video game industry in the US. He said 1 hour ago, lots of chatter on PS5 sales today. In the US, through each platform's 41st month in the market, March 2024 for the PS5, PS5 unit sales are trending 7% ahead of the PS4 and 66% ahead of the PS3. It's likely that 2023 was PS5's peak year in the US. So that last part is speculation, but there goes the number 66 finding its way in again, 66%. But yes, I'm going to reiterate this again, just so everybody understands. The PS5, as of March 2024, is tracking 7% ahead of the PS4. So it's doing better than the PS4, and it's 66% ahead of the PS3. That's actually a crazy number. The PS5 is doing like crazy, crazy better than the PS3 was. I want to remind people that the Xbox console sold less than 1 million units. less than 1 million units in the past 3 months. That is cataclysmically bad. The PlayStation console, if I'm not mistaken, let me bring up the data here. The PlayStation 5 over the last 3 months sold 4.5 million consoles. That is down from last year. It is, and we're going to go over that info, but that's still that's a good chunk. And if we're talking comparisons here, again, like anybody who thinks that the PlayStation 5 is doing poorly, look, this isn't a matter of defense. It's just a matter of fact. Okay, it's a matter of just understanding the facts. The facts, the numbers. The numbers don't lie. The numbers tell you this console's doing fine. Now, what's interesting is you're saying 20.8 million. Listen, the thing that's hurting Sony right now is they were way too bullish about how many PS5s they thought they were going to sell. Sony started March 2023 by telling their shareholders, we're going to sell 25 million. Yeah, it's 20.9 actually, I think. We're going to sell 25 million consoles in 1 year. That when Sony announced that, a lot of people were like, are you sure about that? Like that's absolutely insane. I don't think that's possible. And Sony was like, no, we're going to do it. They were overly confident. They were. And there's no doubt that if they would have hit 25 million, that would be staggering. And last quarter they came out and they said, look, we realize now we're not going to hit 25 million. So we're going to aim for 21 million, which is still a staggering amount of consoles in a single year. And they missed that by I think 100 or 200,000 units. So over 20 million PS5 sold for a fiscal year. You would have to be without being too offensive here, you would have to be a certain type of individual to look at that and come to the conclusion that, wow, that console must be doing poorly, or it's failing, or it's struggling. And that's really all I can say about that. Yeah, I'm not trying to be aggressive here because I'm just not trying to engage with those types of people. But I know that there are a lot of people today giving their thoughts and opinions on this. But believe me when I tell you, well, you don't have to believe me, actually. Trust in the data. Trust in the numbers. The numbers won't lie to you. The numbers will tell you the truth, nothing but the truth. And it's unavoidable. And the PS5 is doing very well. Now, as for Sony's expectation, right? As for Sony, well, listen, if they wanted to sell 25 million and they could only manage about 21 million, what does that mean? It just means that they thought that they were going to peak higher than they did. They thought that what I think happened is Sony clearly understood going into 2023 and for that fiscal year, Sony understood that there was going to be a major bounce back effect, like a rebound effect, essentially, where 2021 and 2022 were, there were still shortages in those years. 2023 is going to be the first year where, it's no holds bar. PS5s are everywhere. Everybody can go buy them. So they had to try to predict what that pent up demand would translate to, and they overestimated it. Sony thought that the pent-up demand on a peak year would be 25 million. Turns out it was about 21 million, which is, again, a staggering number. But yeah, the PS5 is still outpacing the PS4, and the PS4 was an incredibly successful console, one of the most successful consoles of all time. And yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how it continues to perform. We have Michael Lynch here. He says all those AI voices yesterday, and it was Kratos that is the voice of boss. Yeah, dude, that was so funny. The Kratos one sounded pretty good. It was the young Kratos. That was pretty accurate. I'm glad you enjoyed that, Michael. Yeah, I guess that is boss's voice. We have Josh here again saying also the way Sean and Jim completely tag teamed and suplexed Microsoft through a planet should be studied Like, my God, feel how you want about Jim Ryan, but holy heaven. Dude, it's the word suplex that got me here. Suplex. That sounds so bad. Sean and Jim completely tag team suplex Microsoft through a planet. That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, dude, here's my evaluation on that, Josh. I think Don Matrick killed the Xbox console, and I think Phil Spencer buried it. Essentially, I like, that's my evaluation of the Xbox console. It's unfortunate, but I think Sean Layden brought the PlayStation console to new heights, and I think Jim tried to keep it at that height for as long as he could, and now the torch is being passed. Two very different things, and that's, again, it's just a matter of console warring. I know people want to constantly try to turn it into that. It's not. It's just the reality. And, the truth is, at this point, the PS5 success is Microsoft's success. And that's what's ironic, incredibly ironic, and almost puzzling about this whole thing is the better the PS5 does, the better Xbox will do too, because Xbox is shipping many games going forward on this console. And they want as many sales as they can get. So, believe it or not, Microsoft is probably happy that the PS5 is doing well too, because they have a vested interest in this now. Not sure how we got here, guys, but here we are. Mark Tech comes in and says, "Glory to Holstinity." Mark Tech, I'm gonna have to correct you here. It's not Holstinity. It's Holshinoism. Okay, because it's Herman Holst and Hideki Nishino, dual CEOs. So it's Holshinoism. All right. Gaming Survivor will he's like the Jehovah's Witness here. He'll tell you all about it. All right. We also have Lore Cannon here, 10 times super chatting. Thank you for that, man. You're saying console market is not growing, kids playing tablets. That's true too, Lore Cannon. And we're going to dive into that conversation because the PS5 is doing well, but the question is, will the PS5 usher in further growth beyond what we've seen in the past in the console space? And the answer to that question is unlikely. It's unlikely. It's not impossible, but right now it seems unlikely. And I'm just trying to get people to understand that there is a big difference between a console doing well and succeeding versus a billion-dollar corporation looking for constant growth. What I think we are about to witness, and after I go over all the actual info, I'm going to dive deeper into my theory here. But what I think we are about to witness is Sony basically, well, to be honest, Hiroki Totoki says it himself, a two-pronged approach is what Sony's doing. Sony is aggressively focusing in the console space to maximize revenue, growth, and profitability in that space. But they're doing so with the understanding seemingly that they pretty much did peak, that we could get to 100 million PS5 sold, maybe even 120 million, but we're really probably not going to go too far beyond that. And even if we do, there's no way we're going to go beyond 160 million. So we know what the ceiling looks like, but the second prong is PC. And this is where the conversation obviously gets interesting. And we'll talk about that. I'm actually going to start here. I don't know how good my reading voice is right now, but this was announced late last night. PlayStation names Herman Holst and Hideki Nishino as its new CEOs. This is being reported by Christopher Dring over at gamesindustry.biz, and I think this is actually where the interview was conducted. Let me take a sip of my coffee here, and we'll read this. All right. So it says here, Herman Holst and Hideki Nishino will jointly succeed Jim Ryan as the CEOs of Sony Interactive Entertainment. Herman Hulst is CEO of the newly named Studio Business Group, which includes all of PlayStation's first-party teams, plus covers the development of PlayStation IP into other mediums, such as TV and film. Hulst, already the head of PlayStation Studios, or was already the head of PlayStation Studios. He was previously the co-founder of Horizon and Killzone developer Guerrilla Games, which was acquired by Sony in 2005. I am thrilled to lead the Studio Business Group and continue to build on our success with PlayStation 5 while preparing for the future, Hulst said in a statement. The video games industry is one of the largest entertainment industries in the world and has been built on the marriage of content and technology, and I look forward to continuing to push the boundaries of play and entertainment. Hideki Nishino will lead the PlayStation Business Group. Let me reread that. He will lead the Platform Business Group, not the PlayStation Business Group, which includes console hardware, technology, accessories, PlayStation Network, and third-party relations, covering major publishers and indie studios. He was already the SVP of Platform Experiences. He's been part of the Sony business since 2006, holding numerous roles at Sony Network Entertainment, Sony Corporation, and SIE. He says here, we will continue to connect players and creators through world-class products, services, and technology. We always strive to grow our community even bigger with innovation in every area at Sony Interactive Entertainment. I am honored to be appointed such an important role alongside Herman. By working more closely together, we will be positioned to build incredible experiences for an ever-expanding audience now and in the future. Now, there's something very important that I want to highlight to you guys about this that I think is being somewhat overlooked, but it is, I think, critical. We can establish that there are two new business groups that were formed by Sony. Okay, this is what makes this new and unique to these two CEOs. Studio Business Group, Platform Business Group. Sony is making it very clear we are dividing these into two separate groups. One is just that. It's for our own studios, and the other is for the platform itself. Herman Hulst is leading the studio side of things, and Hideki Nishino is leading the platform side of things. I'm going to talk about why I think this is, well, I don't know that it is a good thing for sure, but it seems like it could be a good thing in the long run. But it says here, and I'm wondering if we're going to get more insight into this. So Hideki Nishino, he's in charge of the Platform Business Group. That includes hardware, technology, accessories, PlayStation Network, obviously. But then third-party relations, covering major publishers and indie studios. This is fascinating to me because it tells me, I would have thought that that's an area that Herman Hulst would have covered. But maybe it would have been too much because Herman Hulst has a lot on his plate here. He has a lot of studios to manage, a lot of talent, a lot of developers, a lot of games. So maybe they decided that, we're going to throw the third-party side of things over to Nishino here, so that way Herman doesn't feel overwhelmed by the amount of teams he has to manage. It also might mean that Sony feels it's important to keep those separate, where Nishino, because he's going to be more focused on the platform side of things, that means that, I guess that means, maybe it does mean that he will have to be the one that tries to make the platform overall more appealing to third parties. So maybe actually it does make sense. The more I'm thinking about it now, maybe it does make sense that Nishino will be the one to be in charge of third-party relations, because you entice third parties through the platform itself. You don't entice third parties with your own games. So yeah, I could kind of see now that I'm thinking it through a little bit more, that I don't really know what Herman Hulst's expertise in, let me tell you about our engines and our own games, and that is for some reason going to entice you to want to bring your third-party games to our console. So that, I think that makes more sense now. I'm figuring this out in real time, guys. We have Street Shadow here. He says third-party relations is Nishino's world. It's more about how do third-party partners build their games, the tools, services, SDK, look up PlayStation partners. Yeah, exactly. I think I basically just had that light bulb go off in my head as I was thinking about it. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Actually, it does make more sense that Nishino would be in charge of that. It would actually maybe be more concerning if Herman Holst was the one in charge of that. So, Street Shadow, thank you for. It's good to know that if I didn't come to that conclusion myself, you would have been here to help me see the light. Let's continue with this article, though. So it says here, both leaders will report to Sony Interactive Entertainment Chairman Hiroki Totoki, who has been acting CEO of the division since Jim Ryan stepped down from the role at the end of March. Totoki is also president, COO, and CFO of Sony Group Corporation. The latest changes will take effect from June 1st. Sony Interactive Entertainment is a dynamic and growing business that delivers incredible entertainment experiences through the connection of content and technology, Totoki said. These two leaders will have clear responsibilities and will manage strategic direction to ensure the focus remains on deepening engagement with existing PlayStation users and expanding experiences to new audiences. The fact that both new CEOs are established PlayStation veterans is in keeping with Sony's approach of promoting from within. However, the decision to have two leaders is not something the business has done before and reflects the growing size and scale of the division. So, that's something I want to mention here as well, is people are kind of wondering, why is Sony opting to have two CEOs for the first time? It's very clear that it's because the business is becoming very big. It's becoming a behemoth. It already is a behemoth, and it's only going to get bigger. And as it continues to grow, it's going to be more and more difficult for a single individual to manage all of that. And you could say that up until this point, Jim Ryan was potentially doing the job of two people. But I think it's also very wise for Sony to do this because, well, let's take a look at Herman Holst, right? Herman, he comes from video games. He was the head of Guerrilla Games. He was the managing director at Guerrilla Games. He worked directly on the Killzone franchise, and he was directly involved with the creation of that franchise. He was directly involved with the creation of Horizon Zero Dawn and seeing that game through up to its launch. And in 2019, he was promoted to the head of PlayStation Studios. And I said this back then. I said that, it's good to have somebody who is involved with the video game creation process in charge of video game studios. It would be worrying if it was somebody who didn't understand that process. But what's very interesting now is he is seemingly going to have much more control than he previously did. He's going to be able to do much more now as the CEO of PlayStation, specifically the studio business. He is the be-all, end-all for PlayStation Studios now. The only person above him that he has to report to is Hiroki Totoki. And Hiroki Totoki, listen, the timing of this is funny. I feel like Hiroki Totoki was like, as my first decision as the interim CEO of PlayStation, yes, we will mandate PSN accounts for Helldivers 2. Our shareholders are going to love this. It's going to be great. We're going to see our numbers skyrocket. And it just was like, bro, you just know. And I think Hiroki saw that backlash and he was like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm going to have to appoint some people right now, right away. But yeah, I think that it's good. From what I can tell, it seems like this is a good choice on Sony's part because it should streamline the process, right? Herman doesn't have to worry about the platform side of things, which is good, which means he can just purely focus on the first party side of things, the studio side of things, the game side of things. I'm more interested in Herman Holst going forward because he is the one in charge of the things that matter most to me. With the thing that matters most to me about PlayStation, that is the studios and the games. I do care very much about the platform as a whole and the console experience. And so Hideki Nishino, I'm a little bit more curious about because I mean, he's gonna have a lot of power. He's the CEO of the entire platform, which means Hideki Nishino going forward gets to decide. He gets to decide like what the future of the console is, what the future of the platform as a whole is. So I don't know what to expect. I feel like with Herman, I have a better idea of what to expect. Hiroki just put out a statement on the CEOs. I think I have that statement. A new era. Yeah. Is that the one you're talking about? I'm going to read that next. Alex Mercer, the prototype. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. You're saying here, from what I heard, Hideki is a big fan of Bloodborne and single-player focused games, so this could be a good sign for PlayStation going forward. Yeah, I mean, I have to imagine he's going to have at least a little bit of influence on all of this. I mean, he's in charge of the platform side of things, but I'm sure him and Herman are going to talk a lot, But at the end of the day, that is going to fall on Herman. I want to say this too. Let's look back at January. In January, we got a big state of play, and that state of play was easily the best one Sony ever held. And they had a major announcement at the end of it. And this major announcement was with Kojima Productions and Hideo Kojima and Herman Hulst. And it really was reminiscent of like 2015, 2016, 2017 Sony, where they kind of did these things, right? Like they made these dedicated video announcements for these big projects, hyping up creators. Yeah, it was like a direct message. And I feel, a lot of people walked away from that feeling, man, that didn't feel like Jim Ryan. Like that didn't feel like anything we've gotten during the Jim Ryan era. And at that time, Jim was still technically the CEO, but he had about 2 months left until he retired. And I'm of the mindset that I don't think he was doing much while he was there, just kind of like, counting the days essentially. And a lot of people were saying that very much felt like a Herman Hulst decision. Like that whole thing that happened there with Kojima and the announcement of Fizzant and that being part of the state of play, like everybody felt like that was a Herman Hulst thing. And I hope it is. I hope that is true, because if that is the type of stuff we can expect underneath Herman Hulst now, being the CEO of the studio unit, oh man, I think we have a bright. If that's the case, I think we have a bright future. And Herman was involved quite a bit actually with that state of play. Like he was like almost like the spokesperson essentially of that state of play. So, another reason I have faith in Herman Hulst is because he is hugely responsible for helping bring Hideo Kojima and Kojima Productions over to PlayStation. He basically was, he is good friends with Kojima, but I remember at that time in 2015 and 2016, they were hanging out, they were helping guide him, and Herman offered, he's like, hey man, do you want to use the Decima engine? And Kojima was like, yeah. And Herman gave him the Decima engine. And I think that's awesome. Like that just, it tells me that Herman knows what's up. At least I hope, he seems to have this understanding of like, what PlayStation fans want, because I know that like we can look back and be like, well, what about that last showcase? But let's not forget who was pushing the live service thing here. Well, I don't want to call anything too early because we still have a lot to learn. We're going to find out, but here's what I'll say. Starting June, well, they say June 1st, but I'm going to say whenever Sony has another show, that's going to be Herman Hulst. It's not Jim Ryan. I mean, technically it'll be somewhat Jim Ryan because he still had to greenlit many of these games. But Jim Ryan was the one that was obsessed with the live service push. And I'm not saying that changed. I think Sony still cares about a live service push. But we're going to find out how much control Herman Hulst really had, how much power Herman Hulst really had, because one of two things is about to happen, guys. Let me just give it to you straight. One of two things is about to happen. Number one, not much is going to change. And if not much changes, then we're going to realize, wow, Herman has been making pretty much all of the decisions, and they've all been greenlit. Like the live service decisions, the live service push, all this stuff. As Herman. It would also mean that, he helped facilitate some great games as well, but, not much is going to change. Or the other side of it is we are going to see a major change, and it's going to be very clear. And we're going to we're going to feel very much like, oh, so this is what PlayStation is going to be like now that Jim Ryan is retired. And now that Herman Holst is in charge of the studio, has a CEO position. We're going to find that out. And I'm very interested. I'm very interested to know the answer to that question. And that's why I have a whole nother thing I have to read here. But before I do that, I want to make a statement that I hope you guys will hear out, because I think it's very important. A lot of people want an answer to this question. Like, okay, what changes? Is this good? Those are basically the two questions that people are asking right now. And I don't have the answer. Nobody has that answer. And so what I will suggest to everybody, and this is going to be, I would say this is the general theme of today's discussion. Expect anything. Do not assume to know what will happen at the next showcase, over the next year, over the next 3 or 4 years, in the next generation. This is truly a brand new era of PlayStation, one that we have never seen before. And it could be good. It could be neutral. It could be bad. We don't know. I remember basically communicating a similar sentiment to people at the beginning of the PS5 gen with Jim Ryan. I was a little bit more bullish, though. I'll be honest. I definitely had more enthusiasm. And it's not to say that I'm not enthusiastic about this. It's just I feel like I've learned a lot since then. And part of this process is we will just have to see what they do, and we'll react to it then. But obviously, as I said, for me personally, everybody's going to have their own feelings. I feel that it's at least good to see somebody, that being Herman Holst, he comes from a development background. Again, he's responsible for Horizon Zero Dawn, which was a huge success. That gives me a lot of confidence that he understands what needs to happen, and what people expect. Boss, bro. All right. We also have Street Shadow here with a $5 super chat. He says, another bit of clarity. Platform is more than just hardware. It's dev relations, game dev support, tools, SDK, new hardware, business dealings. Yeah, that's important to mention as well. I do think that Hideki Nishino will be the more business guy, right? I think he's going to be the one that's much more focused on, like you're saying, the business dealings. And, it's funny because people were saying like, oh, great. Now when Sony makes bad decisions, or when PlayStation makes bad decisions, we're not going to know who to blame. Maybe not, but I think it could be pretty clear. I think anything that seems like a bad business decision, that'll probably fall on Nishino. Anything that seems like a bad decision for their own games, that will probably fall on Holst. That's my guess. Or we could just blame both. But yeah, they all think it was you, Herman. Don't ruin this. So we have a direct message from Sony's Hiroki Totoki. This is over on the Sony Interactive Entertainment blog. A message from Hiroki Totoki, a new era at Sony Interactive Entertainment. So if you didn't believe me when I said it's a new era, well, Mr. Totoki is confirming it himself. It is a new era. It says here, the following message was sent to Sony Interactive Entertainment employees today. It brings me great pleasure to announce that I have decided on the succession strategy for the role of CEO at SIE. Over the last decade, SIE has grown tremendously, building upon our continuous success in hardware, software, and services through a sharper focus of player engagement. Boss, dude, could you be any more in the way? Like, really? To continue this growth and momentum, we are moving forward with a new management structure for Sony Interactive Entertainment effective June 1st. Hideki Nishino will be appointed CEO of SIE's Platform Business Group, and Herman Hulst will be appointed CEO of SIE's Studio Business Group. Effective the same date, I will step down from my current role as interim CEO, thus ending the age of Totokism, and become chairman of SIE. In addition to my roles at SGC, both Herman and Nishino-san will report to me as SIE chairman and overlord. Nishino-san will continue his role leading the Platform Experience Group, overseeing technology products, services, and platform experience. He will also oversee third-party publisher and developer relations and commercial operations, including sales and marketing of hardware, services, and peripherals. Herman will continue to lead the SIE Studios business, including PlayStation Studios, Bungie, and PlayStation Productions. He will be responsible for the development, publishing, and business operations of SIE's first-party content, as well as IP expansion opportunities through PlayStation Productions. Later this month, you will learn more about the long-term vision for Sony Group and the essential role SIE plays in that vision. As I mentioned previously, fiscal year 2024 marks the start of a mid-range plan period for Sony Group in which we will set the course for sustainable growth. The future is incredibly bright for SIE, and that is thanks to all of you. Since I became chairman in October 2023, I've been inspired by your enthusiasm, innovative approaches, and teamwork. These values will serve us well as we embark on this exciting future for SIE. Please join me in congratulating Nishino-san and Herman and ushering in Holshinoism. All right, so I want to highlight this part here. Later this month, you will learn more about the long-term vision for Sony Group and the essential role SIE plays in that vision. Showcase? Did Mr. Totoki just confirm a showcase? Yeah, Herman leads Bungie now. Very interesting. Is that an official quote? Yeah, that's in the write-up. Yeah. So that is what Hiroki Totoki sent to every Sony employee. I find it interesting, this long-term vision. Dude, listen, I'm not looking at this as a exciting or bad thing. Like, I'm just looking at it neutral, as in it could be good or bad. But it really sounds like we're about to get some major announcements. Again, they could be good or bad. Like, I don't think those announcements are just exclusive to games. I think we're going to get platform announcements. I think we're going to get game announcements, and it sounds, how can it be bad? Well, I mean, if you look at what just happened on the platform side of things, where they're like, we're going to expand PlayStation Network to PC, like, it can be bad for sure. Or at least it can be perceived as bad. But one thing that seems clear to me is they're going to enact things, and this is the thing that caught my attention about that write-up from Hiroki Totoki. Well, it's not for me to determine what's good or bad. I'm just simply saying, you guys are losing the forest for the trees here. I'm just simply saying that, we don't know. It's an unknown. And because of that, I can't determine how you or I or anybody else is going to feel about it. The only thing I feel like I can say confidently is I find it very interesting that they're saying long term, that they're going to tell us and communicate to everybody a long term vision. This really is like a major turning point in it. Like, I've been saying for a while that, man, I would love to know what Sony's plan is. I would love to know what their vision is. And the longer we have gone without knowing that, the more it begins to feel like do they even know what they're doing? It turns out that this whole time they were devising that plan, and we're going to see it. We're going to see it. And this is why I'm telling you now, remember I am saying this. I want it to let it sink into your brain, and months down the line, years in the future, I want you to hear my voice in the back of your mind saying, expect anything. Expect the unexpected. Okay? That's what I want to tell you. That's what I want to tell you. That is, again, that's the theme today. If there's one single takeaway from this stream and everything we're going over, expect the unexpected. You can't go wrong. Saying that's what they did last year, Shelly. I don't think so. I covered. Maybe you're right. I don't know. Things just feel very different, especially with the announcement of 2 new CEOs. I have another write up here. PlayStation confirms first party game for 2024, promises more exclusives. Following reports that Sony Interactive Entertainment has some first party games lined up for 2024, the company has confirmed at least one PS5 exclusive for this year, Concord. Announcing its financial results for the fiscal year ended March 31st, 2024 today, Sony also pledged to enhance PlayStation Studios' output alongside increasing PC releases. Developed by Firewalk Studios, which Sony acquired in 2023, Concord is a live service PS5 and PC multiplayer shooter. Like Helldivers 2, it will launch day and date on both platforms. In the earnings call today, SIE chairman Hiroki Totoki confirmed that Concord is scheduled to release in 2024. In the same presentation, Totoki reaffirmed Sony's commitment to increasing PlayStation Studios' output. Quote, "We are aiming to grow sales of first-party software, which we have been actively strengthening in recent years, and by doing so, we plan to achieve a new record high in profits in the segment," end quote. He also added that we will adopt a, quote, "two-pronged approach of expanding onto PCs and enhancing the first-party software titles originating from our in-house studios into which we have invested. The two-pronged approach is more important now than ever, as Sony noted that Helldivers 2 smashed expectations and has sold over 12 million units across PS5 and PC. That was another major announcement, by the way. Helldivers 2 across PS5 and PC has sold a total of 12 million units. It is the fastest selling first-party game of all time. Insanity. That is insanity, dude. Concord will be PC day and date. Yes. That's yeah, I'm really interested to see like this two-pronged approach, but I like the fact that he's focusing on first-party output. I'm really curious what that's going to look like. It sounds like he's getting very serious about it. Josh with another super chat says, "The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm expecting a big showcase this year. Herman wants to start his tenure and this new era with a bang as head of PlayStation Studios. I hope so. I mean, look, like I said, expect anything, but that would be great. I'm rooting for that. Absolutely. That would be smart. If Herman does want to set the record straight and he wants to give a good first impression, first impressions mean a lot. To some people, they're everything. That's the way to do it. That would be nice. Irfan, you're saying if that state of play that we got in January was Herman's, imagine what his showcase could be like. We'll see, man. We'll see. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Got to keep it stable, you know? Really quick, this is interesting. You're saying the guy that was literally out in CEO of platform business strategy has gone on record that he's more console focused. Are you talking about Hideki Nishino? Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into Hideki Nishino a little bit because I'm not too familiar with him. Like, I don't know what to expect from him. I have like no expectation. That's very reassuring though, if that's what you're saying. Well, you know, here's the thing though. I think no matter how console focused they are, I think the two-pronged approach is still going to be a big push. Like, it's more than obvious by now that PC plays a major role for Sony going forward. There's no doubt about that. But it doesn't have to be in a toxic, detrimental way. I'm curious to see if Sony can strike a good balance. I think they might be able to, a good balance where care about your console, prioritize your console player base, but continue to seek that growth in the PC market because it's clearly there and it's clearly something that you can achieve, as we've seen with a game like Helldivers 2, but be balanced in your approach, be careful in your approach, be thoughtful, be very meticulous. I think if Sony does this correctly, we could see them achieve the best of both worlds. And if they're able to do that, that means, believe it or not, everybody could end up happy. Maybe I'm being way too optimistic, though. It could go the other way. Sony could fuck everything up. Sony could destroy everything. You never know. Got to balance it out a little bit here, Why do people care more if it's sold? Why do people care if it's sold more on PC? If I had to guess, people care about that because they have this idea that if a game like Helldivers 2 sells more on PC, then that means Sony's going to put more focus on PC, which they're probably not wrong about. But I think people also need to realize and remember that the games that are ahead of Helldivers 2, that have sold more than Helldivers 2, did so on the PlayStation consoles. So I think it reaffirms that Sony's going to pursue PC as a growth vector where they can get more out of it. Certainly. It's untapped for them. But there's no doubt that Sony is still very much aware that, we get most of our sales. At the end of the day, we have gotten most of our sales on console. And that's something that you can't just throw to the wayside, But I don't know how Shell, you're saying it's a 60-40 split. That's pretty good. I'd say. 60-40 split. I mean, yeah, Helldivers 2 seems like it's very much more of a, I don't say a lot more. It makes sense. Like, I get this sense with Helldivers 2 that that's more of like a PC-centric game at this point. Like, the PC player base has truly like adopted this game and taken it on. I think it's still doing well on console, but I think it's interesting because I feel like console players, like, to be honest, it's worth stating and acknowledging that the game still did very well on the console side of things, like better than I would have expected a multiplayer game to do. We know the types of games that PlayStation is kind of known for. And I think that there was just kind of like skepticism for Helldivers 2, like, is this really going to do that well on PlayStation? Is this the type of game that PlayStation players are going to gravitate towards? And it still did very well. Like, what, 6 million sales on 5 or 6 million sales on PlayStation 5? That's pretty good. But yeah, you can clearly see that this is why Sony's going to continue to pursue PC, no doubt about it. We'll see how Concord does. You think Helldivers opened Sony's eyes? Well, yeah, I think what happened was they knew they had to try it, right? They were like, all right, listen, let's at least try going day and date with our live service games and see what that results in. Let's see what happens. And I think it's like, holy shit. Now, my worry is I hope it doesn't create like a false expectation or an unrealistic expectation, I should say. Because, like, for example, I hope Sony doesn't think Concord's going to find the same success. It could, but they should definitely understand that. And I would think they understand that what happened with Helldivers 2 is a lightning in a bottle moment that is nearly impossible to replicate. I'm not saying it's luck. It's just, Concord is very likely not going to do anywhere near what Helldivers 2 did. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if no future Sony live service games do anywhere near what Helldivers 2 has done. So I just hope Sony realizes that it's a very rare occurrence Like, I hope they're not sitting there being like, yo, if this was our first time doing this with a game like Helldivers, hey, we could just do it with every game going forward. Like, setting yourself up for disappointment and failure there. I mean, there's a little bit of luck, no doubt about it. Chris Brown with a super chat says, Arrowhead anticipated 10,000 players. 12 million? Yeah. Yeah. That's fucking wild. That's wild. Maybe we'll get 10,000, maybe 20,000 players. Proceeds to sell 12 million units. Holy shit. Severin Evans, you sure you want to die on this hill? Maybe you're right. But let me know if you want to die on that hill, because if what you're saying is true, then you're telling me that Concord should do similar numbers. It's not going to. I feel I'm not saying 100%, but I feel very confident Concord's not going to do Helldivers 2 numbers. I think it'll do better. To be clear, I think Concord will be helped by launching day and date on PC. But I think it's crazy to assume that, I think it's just crazy to assume that these future live service games are going to do the same. But we have Kane Z7 here with a super chat. Thank you for that, buddy. Saying, I think Sony had 2 surprise awesome games, Helldivers 2 and Stellar Blade, 2 great wins for Sony. Yeah, I think it shows that Sony is threading that needle, man. That right there, what you just pointed out, Kane G7, I think highlights that balance. Oh, Severn, you're saying you didn't say it would. You just gave me the reason why Helldivers 2 did well. Okay. My bad. I misread I misunderstood what you said. Boss, bro. But Kane, I think what you just highlighted is exactly that balance that I think Sony's trying to strive for, where we got this live service multiplayer game, Helldivers 2. We're going to treat it practically like a multi-platform game. Put on PC, put on PlayStation. Does incredibly well. Has a sustainable player base. And then later on, a month or 2 later, we're going to release a single-player AAA console exclusive, for the people who bought PS5s, but also hopefully to entice some people to go buy PS5s. I'm sure Stellar Blade will likely go to PC as well at some point. But I think that's the template, I think it is. Makes sense. This is proof that it can work. It's proof that it can work. All right, let's go over more data here. Shinobi602 over on X. PlayStation fiscal year 2023 full year plus Q4 results. I'm going to read over each bullet point. Bullet point number 1. Annual revenue was up 17% to a record $29.8 billion. Software sales were up plus 24% at $14.1 billion. 4.5 million PS5 sold in Q4, minus 29% from PlayStation's all-time Q4 record of 6.3 million the previous year. So the all-time record is 6.3 million. Sony achieved that last year. Wasn't able to match it this year. 20.8, although somebody said it was 20.9, 20.8 million PS5 sold during fiscal year 2023, up 9% over fiscal year 2022. It's a narrow miss on the revised 21 million forecast, but a record year for PS5. Lifetime PS5 sales are now at 59.3 million, nearly equal to PS4 launch aligned. Profits rose with operating income plus 868 million in Q4, up plus 172% over Q4 fiscal year 2022. Operating income was at $2 billion in fiscal year 2023, plus 16% increase over the previous year. 118 million monthly active PSN users as of March 31st, 2024, up 9.25% over fiscal year 2022. Forecasting, and this is important, forecasting 18 million PS5 console sales for the entirety of fiscal year 2024, with higher operating profit ending April 1st, 2025. They do not expect a sales increase from first party in fiscal year 2024, but do for fiscal year 2025, 2026, meaning expect major first party titles to launch from April 2025 onwards. Sony says they will invest the most into the music segment, followed by PlayStation. Sony Group has also set aside $11.5 billion for investment/acquisitions over the next few years. And there you go. That's pretty much the bulk of it. Yeah, yesterday I said Sony was going to sell 18 million units. I was off by nearly 3 million. Yeah. So let's just unpack a little bit of this. As we established, PS5 is doing great. Sony's saying they expect over the course of this fiscal year to sell 18 million PS5s. That's still a lot. I'm wondering if that's a conservative number on their part, but I'm thinking, I don't know if they're going to be able to hit that. They're going to need a lot of support. I think they could if they have a great showcase and they have at least some games coming. It's also worth noting that Sony did say that they're not expecting an increase, as it said here, in first party profit and revenue over the next fiscal year. So it's obvious Sony does not have a secret big game that they're going to launch over the next fiscal year. They do have games. They have Concord, Until Dawn remake, maybe a new Astro game, but they're not going to come out and be like, oh, by the way, we have a new Naughty Dog game dropping, or here's Ghost of Tsushima 2. That's not happening. However, they did say the next fiscal year, which begins April 1st or March 31st of 2025. Yeah, that's when they're expecting some big increases. So what I think we're going to see happen, I think what this means is we're going to see at the showcase maybe quite a few games that are targeting 2025 and early 2026. I think that's what we're going to see. I think we're going to get updates on some games that we're going to see come for the remainder of this year, but I think there's going to be a big emphasis on games coming out in 2025 and 26. So not bad. I'll be honest with you. I thought that was going to be way worse. Maybe I was being too conservative. I expected that. I really expected that financial report. I expected there to be I don't know, more bad news. So it's good that there isn't. Sounds like the business is relatively healthy. The console's doing well. All right. Let's see here. Matt Piscatella from NPD Group, Circana, formerly NPD Group, says demand for the PlayStation Portal has exceeded supply for several months now, with the device doing better than expected. It's not doing massive units, but pretty good overall. Okay. All right. So how are you guys feeling right now? You're saying you're getting your Portal tomorrow? Nice. How are you guys feeling about everything we just went over? People are trying to downplay it already. Unknown, you're saying not good? Leo says that's good news. Mr. B says positive. Ray says he's loving his Portal. It's been awesome. You don't like their PC strategy. Not bad. Let's see them games, though. That's how I'm feeling, I think, overall, Neo. Not bad. But, it's nice to get the updates on the leadership and the numbers and stuff like that. But I think, yeah, the time has come. I could just spit everywhere. The time has come, Sony. Unleash the beast. Do a poll. Oh, did you guys see the way he just reacted? He understands the terminology now. I'm making a poll for you guys to vote on. I don't think we're going to get news on the PS5 Pro. Corey the Legend Landiga coming in here, dropping a super chat. Says maybe Metal Gear Solid Delta will sell very well as a single player game, and Kojima will be enticed to bundle MGO once if he decides to port it to PC. I think it'll sell very well. Couple things, Corey. Number one, I hope we see Metal Gear Delta at this showcase. Number two, I hope it does sell very well. Well, I hope it's good, and handled correctly, but I hope it sells well. Number three, as much as I would love Kojima to do something with MGO, or Metal Gear, and possibly MGO, I don't think it's ever happening, man. I hate to say it. I really do believe Kojima is forever done with Metal Gear. And to me, the real confirmation of this comes with Fizzant. Fizzant is the spiritual successor to Metal Gear Solid. And it's clear he wants to go back to making that type of game. But he has to do so with a new publisher, which is Sony. A whole new team, new characters, new story, and it could be awesome. But man, I would love to see sorry, boss. I would love to see Metal Gear Delta ship with a remake of Metal Gear Online 1. Oh my God. Do I think OD will come to PlayStation? Yes. For sure. Man, that would be amazing though, Corey. I really hope, I think we're going to see Metal Gear at the showcase because we know Silent Hill 2 remake's going to be there, but we also know that Konami has said that we're going to get an update soon on Metal Gear. So I think that's the place to show a release date trailer, maybe show a little bit more gameplay. Phantom Thief saying OD info got leaked yesterday. People weren't happy about the details of the game. I must have missed this. What were the details of the game? What were people saying? Uh-oh. Konami and Kojima both at the same show, maybe. Bundle MG. Dude, that's such a pipe dream. I would love to see it. Bundling MGO with Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta. There's a Google showcase today. I had no idea. Hanzo, you're saying it is heavy on the cutscenes. Is that what people are? I'm not surprised. I do think that OD is going to be more of a movie than a game. Ironically enough. I do think that, yeah. Because, I mean, dude, he brought out Jordan Peele and he was talking about how he's like assembling what he called like the Avengers of like horror movies. And I'm like, yeah, I could see it being more of like a very cinematic project. Oh, I see somebody bringing up Hellblade. Dude, I saw this pop up. Cat's hair, man. My mic. Somebody brought up Hellblade. I want to say I saw this brought up on Twitter yesterday. And they were pointing out that like Ghost of Tsushima is like number 7 or number 8th. Or it's like the 7th or 8th most pre-ordered game on Steam or something. And like Hellblade 2 is sitting at like the 280th spot or some crazy shit like that. I was like, oh my God. Holy shit. That's anecdotal. That's what I read. I didn't look into it. Holy shit. If that's true, that's fucking. Dude, if I was Ninja Theory, I'd be shitting my pants. Not even kidding. I'd be shitting my pants. Tom Henderson said no review codes were sent. Oh man, disaster. Look. I think it'll review well. I think it could review well. It should. It looks like it should review well. It looks like it's gonna be a good game. I mean, it seems like it's gonna be. Microsoft is being very weird with this game. Very weird. I don't really know what to make of it. Like, are they trying to like sabotage their own studio? What's going on here? Maybe it's too soon for review codes. It is the 14th. The game comes out the 21st. It's an 8-hour game. Maybe they're going to give the review codes out a little bit later. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, you could beat it in one sitting. So, I don't know. If review codes don't go out in the next like 3 days, I would say, you know what? Yeah, 1 week until that's true. 7 days. Maybe they'll give the review codes out on the 16th. Well, you know, there was the rumor or the report. I don't even know. I guess it's a rumor, but the report that you know, we just saw Microsoft and Xbox close some studios and lay off some employees for the Bethesda sector. The reporting now is saying that next up, the internal Xbox studio sector. Smurf says 0 marketing, 0 really gameplay shown in 8-hour length. Not hard to see why there isn't any hype. Yeah, I will say my expectations for Hellblade 2 were very different prior to learning all the info we know about it now. Am I from the South? I am not. Why do you ask? Is it because I'm talking slowly? I'm talking slowly because it's hard to talk. Please don't let my voice be like this when the showcase is happening. Please. You could tell it's getting a little bit better each day, but it's tough to talk for long periods of time. You're saying on Colt's show last night, they said Microsoft is literally handing out voluntary resignation letters. Wow. What? That is wild. You a northern U.S. Italian. Well, yes. Severance packages. Damn, dude. Well, we'll see what happens with Microsoft and Hellblade 2. You know what I think is going to be real bad as well? You know, all these rumors of a PlayStation showcase coming. I feel like Sony basically confirmed it themselves. I feel like it's really going to not help Hellblade 2 if it's launching during showcase week. I mean, I know they're two separate things, but geez, man. Of all the times, you know, of all the times to Chris Case trying to start a war in the chat, Nirvana greater than Soundgarden. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Chris K. Whoa, he's coming in here. He chose violence. I like Nirvana. I do like Soundgarden better, but I like Nirvana a lot too. I mean, Nirvana became so mainstream. And I think that's so funny in a way because, like, that's the opposite of what they wanted. You know, like, don't try and it'll happen. Alice in Chains greater than Nirvana, greater than Soundgarden. Alice in Chains is really good. Yeah. I think Alice in Chains is still an underrated band after all this time. Grunge sucks. Whoa, whoa, hold on. Whoa. Dead by Daylight's new game just got gameplay revealed on PlayStation YouTube. Really? Oh. Wait, hold on. The casting of Frank Stone, a dark single player narrative from the world of Dead by Daylight. What's the gameplay like? I mean, I see like a post about it. Thank you, Jay Shako. This looks interesting. Yeah. I mean, they're not really showing much gameplay though. Like I am getting like Until Dawn vibes from it. You guys getting the same vibe? Thoughts on Square Enix going multi-platform? I think it's smart. I think it's smart. They need more money. They need more sales. They're going to need more sales to get more money. So go multi-platform. I just wonder if it's going to save them, you know? Like Square Enix has always had such high expectations. And Square Enix is kind of infamous for having expectations that are too high for their games. And I mean, I think going multi-platform is logical. I'm just curious to know if it'll be the difference maker. You know, it can't hurt to try. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Nishino's been speaking up on Bloodborne. Uh-oh. First, that new Bloodborne merch drop. Now this. Legion's GG. Excuse me. Saying Xbox base are conditioned not to pay for games. Hellblade won't sell because of Game Pass. Oh, and zero media around it. Boiling frog syndrome. Very well put, Legions. Very well put. You're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. That's, you know, I said earlier in this stream, I said Don Matrick killed the Xbox console and damn near killed the platform. And I think Phil Spencer buried it. And I think Game Pass plays a big role in that. I think it is true that Game Pass players have absolutely been conditioned to not pay for games. And now Microsoft's strategy is shifting again. And part of that shift, and it's an abrupt shift, is because damn, we need more money now, like quickly. We need more revenue. We need increased numbers. And good luck when you've conditioned a large portion of your console base and your fan base to not pay for games. It's going to be rough going. So, we can say what we want about Jim Ryan, but he was right, dude. Jim Ryan knew what he was doing. I mean, he made some of his own mistakes, obviously, but generally speaking, he knew what he was doing. He knew that following that path, it would have probably destroyed PlayStation. And I think he was right. I think that's obvious now. So, Legions, I appreciate the super chat, and I can't argue with that. Yeah, you got try to, if there's a game you're excited for, try if you're able to buy it. If it's not on your platform, I mean, I could understand why you would. Whoa, hold on. Hold the phone. Excuse me, Rudy. Did I see Dead by Daylight's 2v8 mode? This is the first I'm hearing of this. You're telling me 2 killers and 8 survivors in a single map. What? I did not hear about this, dude. I've mentioned that idea so many times, like not to you guys, but when I'm like playing the game, I'm like, yo, they should do 2 killers and 8 survivors. What would that be like? And they're actually doing it. That sounds insane, man. That actually sounds really interesting. That sounds chaotic as hell. I'm definitely going to try that. When's that come out? Remember Microsoft streaming music service Groove Music? Pass. Can't say I do. Now I need to put 8 people on the hook? Am I going to watch the AC Shadows trailer tomorrow? Am I interested in it? I can't say I'm interested in it. I haven't ever gotten into Assassin's Creed, but I'll probably check out the trailer. The video is up now. Damn, all the stuff's coming out while I'm... Let's see. Dude, the first... all right. Let me see here. Okay. Interesting. They made the maps bigger. Oh, that's okay. That's super interesting. Yeah, I'll have to give that a try. I mean, dude, I was this close to being done with that game too. And then they find a way to pull me back in. Is Hellblade 2 next week? Yes. Michael, from what I heard, oh man, I put too much of this stuff on my face, bro. From what I heard, Rockstar is apparently going to announce Red Dead Redemption 1 for PC. Finally. I found part of Boss's Claw. Huh. Assassin's Creed Shadows is such a generic name. What do you think? It is. Yeah, it is. But it works. It works, you know? Assassin's Creed Shadows. How have we not used the word shadows yet? We need to use this word now. Yeah. Took them 14 years to bring Red Dead 1 to PC. I saw that, Chris. Yeah. Nicolas Cage to star in a live action Spider-Man noir. Holy shit, indeed. Assassin's Creed Sam Fisher. Nice movie trailer voice, MBG. Thank you, Smurf. Saying there's no way it's better than what Sucker Punch has been cooking. I don't think so, no. I don't think so. I'm in agreement. For a second, I thought you were going to say, holy shit, Nicolas Cage is starring in the new Assassin's Creed game. That would be, dude, I would have to play that. Yeah. That'd be awesome. Kojima should get Nicolas Cage in Fizzant. It had to be completely recoded. Really, Space Gambler. I guess that explains it then. I had no idea. When do I think the showcase is going to get revealed? Great question, Irfan. I'm thinking the 16th. I think it's going to get revealed on Thursday. I think Sony's going to give it 7 days. They're going to give it a full 7 days to marinate, to let the bloodborne hopium flow. I'm thinking the 16th. That's my guess. Why? Well, because I think the showcase is going to happen on the 23rd, and I think if they announce it on the 16th, that's a full 7 days, a full week to just let everybody know. Big showcase is coming. I want to know. Look, I'm not trying to say that the length of a showcase is that important, but I am curious to know how long it's going to be. Like, for example, I should probably let you guys know about this now. If they put out the blog post and the announcement and they're like, hey, it's going to be 40 minutes. I'm going to be sad. I am. I'm not going to be like totally sad, like, fuck you, Sony. I hate you. I'm not going to be like that, but I'm going to be a little bit sad. I'm going to be 40 minutes. That's it. That's what you tell the ladies. Dude, the last state of play was like 40 minutes. I need at least an hour. At least an hour. Preferably an hour and a half. See, here's what I think. If Sony goes over an hour, if they go like an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half, that's going to get me more excited. It doesn't guarantee that we will have better announcements, but it means that there's going to be a fucking lot. In a 3-hour showcase, the age of Holshino introduces the first ever 3-hour showcase. Buckle up. We're giving Jeff Keighley a run for his money this year. I need at least 1 hour. They'll say over an hour. An hour and a half might be pushing it. Yeah, that could be pretty long. An hour and a half can drag. It's all about the pacing. It's all about the quality of the announcements. If you do 40 minutes, but the announcements are super high quality and there's very little filler, it can be a very potent, concentrated showcase. But if it's 40 minutes, I'm going to be a little bit nervous. Imagine a CEO intro segment where they Q&A their careers for 30 minutes. 20 minutes of Kojima just standing on stage. Just standing up there smiling. I'd still watch it. Reverse Draft says y'all going to get disappointed again. Listen, I'm ready for the disappointment. I'm going to be excited for the showcase just because they only happen once a year usually. I'm going to be excited for it, but I'm not going to overhype it. I'm not. You guys can overhype it. I'm not going to try to be boring about it. I'm just saying, like, I'm going to go in understanding that this could go poorly. I don't want it to. I'm hoping it doesn't, but I've lived and I've learned. So I'm ready for anything. Remember what I said, man. Be ready for anything. That's what I'm going in with. I'm ready for the greatest show I've ever seen. I'm ready for the worst show I've ever seen. I'm ready for anything in between. I'm ready for it all. You always do that at the end. Nah, I am going to be more chill this year, though. Like, in all seriousness, I will be. Because here's the beauty of it. If I go in a little bit more chill and Sony does deliver, well, fuck, man. Then we can be as hype as we want. And no one can stop us. Because everybody else will be hyped too. You know what I mean? If Sony brings the hype, you won't need me to hype you. Look, it's going to be Sony's job this time to bring the hype, not me. You get that? I'll bring my thoughts. I'll bring some good conversation and discussion. But that's Sony's job this time. You need the MBG hype. Let's react to last year's showcase and watch you react to yourself. I don't think I could watch that. I don't think I could. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. Don't make me relive that, bro. Am I gonna bring the mullet? I don't know. I'm thinking about wearing the clown wig this time. What do you guys think? I think it could be good luck. I wear the mullet. It brings bad showcase juju. I wear the clown wig. You know, I'm bringing the opposite energy. Jay Shago says, "Fuck no." I wonder how many people think that emoji you guys are using right now is photoshopped. That's not photoshopped. That's a real picture of MBG. That's serious. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. You think the clown wig will jinx it? I think it's the opposite. I think showing up with the clown wig ensures that, like, all right, look, man, do you see? Look at this guy. This guy has clearly given up. There's nothing. We can't let this man down anymore. He's at his lowest point. It's time to bring it up. We need more baby steps. That'll probably show up. Dude, all right, listen. Clown wig on top of the mullet. How's that sound? Buy the Bloodborne attire. It's probably expensive as shit. I saw that, Irfin. Phantom Blade Zero is going to show up. I'm excited for that. I'd definitely like to see more. Will Naughty Dog show up, yes or no? Fuck, man. Yes or no? Is Naughty Dog going to show up? I'm going to say no. I hate to say that, but I think the answer is no. I'm trying to be realistic, man. Maybe I should bring opposite energy. I should test this theory. I fucking should do it. I should bring Doomer energy. I'm good at that. It may not seem like it, but I'm definitely good at being a Doomer. I should bring Doomer energy because I'm telling you, man, like opposites attract. If I go in with the Doomer energy, you're going to see the best showcase ever. If I go in hype, we're going to leave disappointed. Yeah, it's reverse psychology, bro. It can't go wrong. I'm going to go in and be like, this is going to be the worst show. Sony's going to let me down. Come on, Sony. Clown me. Clown me. Clown the entire PlayStation fan base. And it's going to go the opposite. Ben Stein energy. Do I think Sony Ben's project is going to show? I think there's a pretty decent chance it could, yeah. I feel like Sony's Ben game might be ready to show. Ready to finally be announced. Doomer energy didn't work for Xbox. Sage Infinite, that's what you're going to do? I think Ben has the highest chance. I think Sucker Punch has the highest chance. Sucker Punch, I'll be honest, that's like the one studio that I'm like, for sure, like, yeah, they're going to be there. They're going to show up. That's what I want some Metal Gear Delta gameplay, bro. Blue Point. According to that statement, they said that they're going to show the long-term plan. Could mean they're about to open the floodgates. Ooh. Now, don't get me too excited, Roofer Man. No, Roofer Man. No. What did I just say? No floodgates are opening. Sony sucks. PlayStation sucks. And we have to accept that. We have to accept that we're all going to congregate to watch this showcase. And we are going to get basically slapped in the face and told that we suck. We shouldn't even be here. Yeah, the shit gates are opening and we're going to get shit on. All right? This is it. This is the energy. Will's London studio shut down? Yeah, I think so. I'm going to get clipped saying that. I doubt it. If I got clipped saying that, it's going to look weird because it's going to be the opposite of what I normally get clipped for. So it was all my fault last year. I think it was. Kane Z7, thank you for the super chat, bud. You're saying it's going to be a 2-hour-long showcase showing indies and VR titles. Let's just accept that reality. There you go. Kane Z7 understands. Although I'll be honest, I think VR players would be super hyped for that. There's a lot of VR players that'd be like, yo, let's go. 2 fucking hours of VR 2. My God, 2 hours of that would be difficult to watch, though. That's a long time, dude. Of just, indies and VR. Yeah, maybe that's how we're gonna end up bamboozled. Is Sony treated January State of Play more like a showcase, and then they're gonna treat their showcase more like a State of Play. Secret PlayStation Studio announcement at the showcase, maybe. I mean, yeah, that's possible. I think it might be too early. We know that the studio is real. It exists. We just don't know when we're actually going to hear about it. One hour is a safe bet. When is Sony going to announce the secret showcase? Soon. Let me go check to see if anything else came out real quick. Arnold Schwarzenegger is set to play Santa Claus in an upcoming holiday film, also starring Alan Ritchson, releasing on Prime Video in 2025. I'll be there. Day one. Absolutely. I want that movie. Arnold will return, bro. I'm getting Jingle All the Way vibes. Let's fucking go. Let's go, bro. Which one did I assign the this one? Oh. I apologize. If I just scared the shit out of any. I hit the wrong button. Shelly, I'm so sorry. That was a genuine accident. That scared me, bro. Oh, man. That was kind of amazing, though. That timing, though, was somewhat amazing. I feel like that scream really hits the spot when you're not expecting it and when you aren't prepared for it. I know this because I wasn't prepared for that. Oh, all right. Get back to the sleigh. Yeah, dude, I love Arnold. It's so cool that he's still doing movies. I'll be there for that for sure. Sean Mitchell, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Oh my God. Hold on. Let me take a drink here. All right. Sean Mitchell, you're saying ideal showcase for me is Death Stranding 2 gameplay and date, Ghost of Tsushima 2 tease, Sony Ben's project, GTA 6 trailer for marketing rights. It's a reach, I know. And then they finish with a tease look at the PS5 Pro. That would be pretty good. I think GTA 6 would would be pretty big at the showcase, but there's only one thing I would add to this for me personally, because I think that's a pretty good show. I know a lot of people would say that's not a good show. I would be okay with that because it's like it's conservative, Sean. I think what you're listing is realistic. Although you are saying that the GTA 6 trailer would be a reach, I think it's pretty realistic. However, the one thing I would add to this is Wolverine gameplay, like a new Wolverine trailer or a Venom trailer. I would be surprised if neither of those show up. I feel like it's time for one of those two projects to be revealed. So I do expect Insomniac. But yeah, that would be pretty good. I do think Death Stranding 2 is going to be there. Ghost of Tsushima 2. Sony Bend. Yeah, I'd be very happy to see both of those. Absolutely. I'd be excited. An Arnie Christmas movie would be a good one to watch with little MBG and Mrs. MBG. Dude, we watch Jingle All the Way every year. So a new Arnold Christmas movie? Let's go. I never thought I'd see the day. Maybe life isn't so bad. But Sean, I appreciate that, man. And we'll see. I'll definitely, when we get closer to the, like when the showcase is actually announced, I'll definitely do a dedicated stream talking all about what to expect, what I'm expecting. You know, we'll go over all the studios and all that stuff. Lawman, a member for 11 months, says Sean Layden was right. Game Pass was always unsustainable. That's why we see Xbox on PS5 now. Also, Sony needs a specific horror and RPG game studio. Well, I can't speak to the RPG studio, but I will say that Fire Sprite. Oh yeah, it's, you know what? That's another game that I think might show up. Fire Sprite's working on a horror game, so we could see that. I mean, people have been speculating. It's not a rumor. People have speculated that they're working on Until Dawn 2, a sequel, and that's why we're getting the remaster and the remake and a movie. Abandoned. No, I don't think it's that. True. Yeah, we haven't heard anything from Haven in a while. Shelly, you're saying I thought it was a Siren game? Well, I think that may have been speculation. The only thing we know about Project Heartbreak, which is the rumored, it's not rumored, confirmed horror game in the works at Fire Sprite. The only thing we actually know is that it's based on a known franchise, like an established horror IP. So I don't think it's Siren. It would be cool if it was Siren, but you're saying that sounds like Siren? I don't know, man. I'm thinking it's going to be something Until Dawn related. I do, but maybe you're right. That would be pretty surprising. Yeah, a lot of people don't know what Siren is. I'm not too familiar with it. I know it's like a horror game based in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. Check something real quick. I think my voice might be starting to go again soon. Here's another quote from Sony president, CFO, and COO Hiroki Totoki. Quote, as we enter the second half of the console cycle, we expect the number of new PS5 units sold to gradually decline. However, by steadily maintaining and expanding the consistently increasing number of active users and user engagement, while also strengthening control over business costs, we believe that we will be able to steadily increase sales and profits from the PlayStation platform going forward. In addition to the stable earnings base on the PlayStation platform, we are aiming to grow sales of first-party software, which we have been actively strengthening in recent years, and by doing so, we plan to achieve a record high in profits in the segment during the fifth mid-range plan. Guys, what do you make of this? Is Hiroki Totoki hinting at day and date PC for all games? I won't lie. That's kind of how I'm reading that. I mean, aiming to grow sales, specifically sales of first-party software, which we've been actively strengthening in recent years. And by doing so, we plan to achieve a new record high in profits. What's interesting to me about that is said after he lets the shareholders know the PS5 console sales are going to slow down in the second half. It would end PlayStation. That's true. Just because they're talking about profit doesn't necessarily mean day and date. Maybe they are going to have a launcher. I have a question for you guys because we've been talking about this a little bit. How many of you guys would switch from PlayStation 5 console to a PC if Sony had their own PC launcher? So, like, let's just use Death Stranding 2. Death Stranding 2 is going to launch day one on PC as well, but only through Sony's launcher. Would you move over to PC and use that launcher, or would you stick with the console? It seems like most of you guys are saying no. You would just stick with the console. All right, now I'm going to ask a second question. What if they launch it day one on Steam? Like Death Stranding 2 launches day one on Steam. Do you move over then? Assuming you're into Death Stranding 2. Only FPS other than that? No. Yep. Nope. Possibly no. Interesting. Yeah, I think some people would move over, but I mean, I don't think I would. No. I'd probably try it. If Sony, I don't know, if Sony had a launcher on PC, maybe I'd try it just to see, but I don't think it would convert me over. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what Hiroki Totoki. We'll see what he means by this. I told you guys, listen. I'm not telling you what is going to happen. I'm not even going to tell you what I think is going to happen because I don't know what to think. I just want people to remember, expect anything, man. It is a new era at PlayStation. New leadership completely. These are the first, these two CEOs, by the way. You got Herman Hulst and Hideki Nishino. These are the first CEOs, first dual CEOs, but also the first CEOs that were not there for the PS1 generation. So, onward to the future, man. We're here. They are gamers, yes, which is good. I'm pretty sure Hideki Nishino actually is. I'm pretty sure he games. He seems like the kind of person that games. So, is it good or bad for business to be gamers, though? Well, they do report to Hiroki Totoki. Steven, you're saying if it carries over all of your PS5 games, then maybe you're tempted. Oh, yeah, true. I didn't think of that. Oh, yeah, that would make the launcher very interesting. If you sign in, so if Sony launched a PlayStation launcher on PC, I could download it and install it on my PC right now, and they would say any games you bought digitally carry over. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I do wonder how many people would feel tempted by that. I do think that's what they're working on. Am I saying his name wrong, Hanzo? You're saying Hideaki. Oh, is that how you say? Wait, hold on. I've been saying it wrong this whole time. Hideaki Noshino. I'm like, Hideki Nishino. You'll be amazed if consoles last another 15 years. I think they'll be around for 15 years. Yeah. I just think I wouldn't be surprised if the player base, the console base drops. I think it'll become more and more niche, maybe. But I think we still got. I think we still got at least one more generation. I want to say this too. Listen, I don't think Sony's willing to go day and date with PC yet. Maybe I'm wrong. This is just my speculation. Again, I expect anything, but I really am wondering, maybe Sony won't go day and date anytime soon because they want to wait to see how the PlayStation 6 generation goes. You ever think of that? Like, maybe they want to see if they can truly achieve new heights with the PlayStation 6 before, you know, pulling the trigger on that. Because I feel like the PS5 got all fucked up, man. I feel like the PS5 never really had a fair chance, even though it's still doing very well. That's a good point too. You thinking Sony might look over what's happening with Xbox, and that might stop them from going full day and date with everything? Yeah, I can understand that logic. Yeah, that's a good point, Shelly. That's a good point. Yeah, the PS5 is, I think, currently doing better than the PS4, at least in the US, which is a big deal because the US is the biggest market. So you're right. Well, you know what I think it mean? Excuse me. You know what I think it might? Hold on. What I think it might reveal is that um, maybe the PS5 would be doing substantially better than it is now if there wasn't this messed up launch cycle. Oh my god. I can't believe how long this is lingering, dude. I don't mean to complain. It's just God. Don't have a runny nose. My sinuses are fine. I can breathe fine, which is good. Don't have a headache. Don't have any. Don't have watery eyes. Don't have body aches. Literally, the only thing I have is just some mucus and laryngitis, dude. Like, damn, laryngitis. I think I've only gotten laryngitis like once or twice in my life. I don't remember it lasting this long. Maybe I'm prolonging it by streaming. I don't know. How do you guys do you guys think I sound better than I did yesterday? Take a COVID test. Maybe it is COVID. Probably is. Laryngitis is bacterial. No, no. It could be viral. It could be both. It could be viral or bacterial. I don't think it's bacterial. Normally, I haven't had that many bacterial infections, but when I have, I always get a bad fever, and I haven't gotten a fever at all. You think I sound worse, Garrett? Oh, that's making me sad. Well, I appreciate you being honest, though. I'd prefer the truth. Does anybody else agree with him? What do you think? Well, you know what? I'm almost 2.5 hours into the stream as well. Maybe I sound worse now because I've been talking for over 2 hours. I feel like I'm lasting longer, though. You know? Oh, you're saying you're joking you weren't here yesterday? Oh, okay. Thank you for clarifying that, Garrett. You were going to live in my head rent free for a while. I sound a lot better than the other day. Okay, good. Long COVID. I can't believe we all got sick again like this, man. I mean, it happens. You can't do anything about it, but there's something always really weird to me about being sick in spring. Like sick in winter, I get it. It's winter. Everybody's sick. But when it's like nice out and you're sick, it just something about that feels so wrong. Better than Sunday, about the same as yesterday. Okay. That's what she said. Guys, listen, I have a confession to make. I don't have a basement. I lied. I don't have a basement. Also, I lied. I'm not even actually sick. It turns out I'm not sick. It turns out that I went to karaoke and I tried really hard. I tried really hard to do karaoke for Lamb of God, and I completely blew my fucking vocal cords out. Okay, are you guys happy? Is this what you wanted to hear? This is the truth. You want it? Fine. Fine. There you go, Steven. You guys want the truth? I finally hit puberty, all right? Yeah, I did this trying to sing Alice in Chains. I was trying to karaoke some Soundgarden, and I realized, you know what? I'm not Chris Cornell, and I learned the hard way. Stop abusing the catnip. All right, let's see. Chris Brown says, put that cookie down now. God, I can still kind of do it. Wait, could this be the AI? You're saying Staley is much easier to sing than Cornell? Cornell Staley has some crazy notes. They're both really impressive. All right, let's see where we're at here. So we're at almost a 2 hour and 20-minute mark. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to end the stream early. I normally do go longer in the streams, and I would do a members lounge, but I really gotta try to not push my voice too hard because I can tell I'm starting to get more hoarse now, and I'm struggling. And I think so. I'm not going to stream tomorrow. My hope is I can at least record a news video for you guys, so you can look forward to that. But today I'm going to end it here. I think it was a pretty good stream. We got all the topics covered. Just kind of chatted for a little while about some random other topics. And yeah, so no showcase announcement stream. Well, no, listen, if the showcase is announced tomorrow, I'll stream. My hope is that it doesn't get announced tomorrow, though. If I do a stream tomorrow for a showcase announcement, like if they do happen to have one tomorrow, I don't think they will. Just to be clear, I don't think they will. If they do, I'll probably take off Thursday then. But yeah, so I'm going to end this poll here. Let me just see what you guys said. How do you feel about the new PlayStation CEOs? 63% say good. 27% say I don't know. 8% say bad. 533 votes. So, all right. Well, a lot of you guys seem to be feeling pretty good about it. We'll see. I hope you guys are right. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me today on the stream. I want to make sure to give a big shout out and thank you to everybody who dropped membership gifts. We did hit our goal of 25 members. We hit 26 members today, actually. So thank you for that. And I also want to make sure to thank everybody who dropped a super chat donation as well. As I have continued to say and will continue to say as long as it remains true, without your support, I wouldn't be able to do these streams. I wouldn't be able to run this channel, and literally couldn't do it without you. So thank you guys so much for that. I just have one last request as you guys are heading out, and that is to please hit the like button. We're sitting at 304 likes. Let's see if we can maybe bump that up to 325 when it's all said and done. And yeah, I also want to give a special shout out to Devil Shooter for doing the timestamps for the streams. He does a great job. If you see him in the comments, give him a big thanks. I know he really appreciates that. And there we go. So, new PlayStation CEO announced, earnings report, first party update. Interesting and hopefully some exciting times ahead. But all right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. I will catch everybody in the next one again. Sorry I couldn't do a members lounge. My hope is that by the time I do another stream, except unless it's tomorrow, I will be able to do one. But thank you for bearing with me. All right, take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. I will catch you in the next one.